Are we live?
Yes.
We shall see.
I'm just gonna say that if Zoom says yes, then yes.
I know.
There we are. We're there. I see us. Hi
We
us.
are there. Yay! We're
Well,
here. Welcome, welcome everybody. Happy Tuesday to all our um, beloved people in the Midwest Elevation Facebook group. I'm so glad to have you all here and joining us. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here a while, we're at it again. My name is Renee Zukin, and I host these weekly conversations to raise the collective conscious. And I am super excited because our guest today is a dear friend of mine. We don't say old friend, apparently. We say longtime friend.
yes.
Longtime friend, right? And we're here to talk about radiant mindfulness. So let me tell you a little bit about Ama before we get into it, right? Oh, I see a typo. Ama Mothershed. It's very important that we say
Mama,
her
mama.
name. Ama Mama. Ama Mama is a musician, dancer, somatic movement instructor, and embodiment coach who began her journey in the creative arts at the tender age of 5 and gained decades of experience in the worlds of stage performance. We may have done a few things together in that realm. Education, that too. Personal development, energy healing, somatic embodiment modalities, as well as leadership. Ama is committed to fusing her love of music, movement, and mindfulness in order to help heart-centered women find a deeper connection to body, mind, and spirit so that they can release what's holding them back, get in touch with their divine gifts, and step into their dreams. Phenomenal. Ama leads the Radiant Movement Circle and international community of rad movers. I love it, right? Who love to move, groove, and are ready to cha-cha their way towards their full embodied expression. Yes, welcome, welcome, Ama. I am so glad to have you here.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. It's wild to hear you read that.
Right.
It's so interesting. When we share things that we've done, it's kind of normal for us. It's like, oh, so we don't really, at least for me, I don't necessarily feel like it's just, I don't know. So to hear you read that, I'm like, who's that? Who are you reading
Right.
about?
I
Like,
totally know what you mean.
you know?
I
So,
do. Like, oh, I did that. I did all that.
right.
We're so focused on where we are now. And by the way, we did not plan on wearing the same outfit today. That was just that,
Oh,
that
honestly,
was
though, it
just
makes
fate.
sense. We're winter colors.
We are winter
It's the
colors.
winter colors. So that's exactly what I just bought the sweater like 3 days ago, or well, a couple more. Yeah, because I'm like, I'm gonna be on this interview. I need to find like a nice sweater. It's super comfy, and then apparently it's almost the same one as yours.
It's we have good taste.
We
That's what
do.
it means.
That's right.
That's what that means. All right, I just want to make sure that I could see. I'm not ignoring you. I'm checking our.
It's 2020,
I
just
know. Such a weird world we live in.
right.
Well, let's get to it. So, radiant mindfulness is our topic today. Let's break that down. What on earth is radiant? Or what, by heavens, is radiant mindfulness?
All right. So when we were talking about what do we want to talk about, the word radiant for me is a part of what I do. And it is something, I don't know, Renee, if you've had this before, where there is the word of the day or the word of the month or of the year,
Yes.
right? And radiant during this particular year kept showing up and kept showing up. And I figured it was better than dumpster fire because that also has
Right.
been showing up quite a bit.
Right.
But
I'll tell you,
radiant,
that's actually how elevation, Midwest elevation came to be as well. Elevation, it just elevate. It kept coming into the consciousness and tapping you on the shoulder. So
yep.
yeah, tell us more.
Yeah.
What was it telling you?
Well, yeah, tap, 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 right? It's for me, the word just kept sharing, share your light. You gotta share your light, keep shining. It's really dark right now. How can you shine? What little things can you do daily that will help help me shine, not necessarily in a way that's like a lighthouse blinding everybody, but just little little bits of myself and in my journey, my daily journey. What's a little bit of radiance that I can put out every day? And sometimes I've had to hold the mirror in front of me to bounce that radiance back at me, uh, because it's been tough. I'm not only the things that Renee read in the beginning. Thank you for reading all that.
Yeah.
But I'm a mom of two kids who are online schooling right now. And I'm married to a first responder, a paramedic, a longtime paramedic who is super, like, he's in it. He's in all of
He is
it.
in it. Yes.
Right. So radiant, the word radiant just kept coming back and kept coming back. And so that's how Radiant Movement Circle started. Radiant mindfulness, it's not really a thing. It's more of a frame of mind. It's just mindfulness is that quality or the state of being or state of consciousness, this awareness, right? We're aware of something. It's this just being mindful. And so those two words coming together of radiant mindfulness, uh, for me, just brought this sense of presence and groundedness. Like, okay, like, all right, how can I radiant? How can I be mindful about it? I think many of us know that a lot of us like to give out. So there's also this mindfulness of how much are you radiating outward? Is it too much? Do you need to bring it back?
Mm,
So there's
mm.
that's important,
It is.
right?
I love that. I love that you talk about the radiance as, you think of like glowing light, of course, but really as that state of mind, and the brightness that you can, that, or the gifts that everybody can give, and we each have our own, and um, how being staying connected to that, has really helped you, navigate these tumultuous times. Um, and that also, that we each have that radiant light. And so you're able to show other people where to find it, which is a beautiful, beautiful talent you have, in addition to all the other things or including, yes.
Yes, including. Yeah. And one thing I will add to that is that this idea of radiance, there are times where it is really deep
Mm,
and it really doesn't want to radiate out. Your light just really needs to be nurtured and held in a safe container, and that's okay too.
mm,
We are in this culture right now. Like, if you think Instagram, like, I have a ring light right here, or else the light's horrible, right? But everything is filtered and it's like perfect. And so sometimes we feel like we have to radiate all the time. And so that's where the mindfulness word really comes into play. And it's super important, is that reminder of, oh, I also need to be mindful of that. And so if it's deep and it needs to be nurtured right now, that's like,
mm.
honor that as well. I don't want people to think like you have to radiate outwards all the time.
Right, right.
So,
Yeah, or like that toxic positivity. That's not what we're talking about here,
no.
right?
Mm-mm.
It's so interesting, but um, I love how you describe that. It's almost like, a hibernation of sorts, where you have to,
Mhm.
collect yourself, and the and the little flame, hold it tight, right?
Yeah, it's that, we're both the same generation. We're kind of this Zennial generations, really, like, collect yourself before you wreck yourself. It's very, it's
I kind
important.
of love
It's important to allow yourself to do that as well. So
that.
I just wanted to put that out there. So
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's
yeah.
fantastic. And, you and I have been kind of leading these parallel lives a little bit, running on. um, and I know I just, you've been a movement instructor for a long time.
Hmm.
Um, and I've attended some of your classes, and I always just loved it. I know
Oh.
I need to get better. Enough about me.
We're on Zoom anyways,
I know,
so it's
right?
fine.
We don't need to talk about the fact that
Fine.
I can't seem to exercise.
It's all good.
Uh, but I'm so curious how you've been able to um, to pull together all the pieces of your work to create this era of now where you are able to hold people in a space and work with them not just in movement but in for their life. It's not just about let's exercise and be healthy, right? There's so much more to it, right? I mean, that helps, but
Yeah.
so maybe, yeah, let's talk. I'm curious to know kind of how you were able to bring those things together.
It's interesting. I love that you asked this question because I was just thinking about this yesterday with a buddy of mine. And this, uh, some of you have heard this before. Renee, you've heard this. Life is really, it's your PhD.
Mm.
And in a way, this particular year, 2020, has allowed me to, well, has forced pretty much all of us to just stop, just big, this is a big timeout. Everyone gets to go, your timeout for you, timeout for you.
Mm.
And this is the year that allowed me to bring those things together. So what are those things? Those things, as Renee mentioned, it's movement. I started dancing when I was 5. I also started singing when I was 5. So those two things have been really important. And so they were really already in my lexicon, shall we say. College comes along and college does what college does for so many people. And those things were just put on the back burner. And they started to come out about 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's also when I became certified as a life purpose coach. And that also was put on the back burner. There was a lot of things that I got and I had all these interests, but then they were all just like, okay, you got that? We're going to put it here. We're going to put it here. We're going to put it here. And it needed to wait for this natural time, for that right timing, shall we say.
Yeah.
And this year was the time where it's like, oh, wait a minute. Well, I do movement. I specialize in the Nia technique, for those of you who are familiar with that. And it's this idea of like dance arts and martial arts and mindfulness together.
Mm-hmm.
So that already was allowed me to really come forth and express through movement in a way that was like amazing. And I've been doing that for 7 years. But then bringing in the coaching aspect back in, I'm like, oh, well, maybe I can put that in. Oh, Reiki. Yeah, let's put that in as well. And so all of these things just came together. How they came together, they
Divine mystery.
I mean, really, it was. It wasn't like I wrote down, I'm going to do this. I am going to serve heart-centered. I say heart-centered women just to be really niche specific, but honestly, it's heart-centered like people,
Yeah.
those who want to use movement and energy and mindfulness and want to really tap into that body and mind connection and even the spirit, their being, so that they can kind of release some crap.
Mm-hmm.
But in a way that involves movement, because in my coaching life, there was no movement. It was like, you do this, this, and it was very kind of, if you do yin yang or feminine, masculine energies, it's very masculine energy, which fits me. Great, but this feminine energetic sphere needed to be loved and I needed to pay attention to it. So that's where the movement came in. And then everything started to lock together, and it's still locking together. There's, this is a journey. I feel like I'm in this embryonic journey right now. Even though I have a lot of things that I know, but you're always coming back to the beginning, always starting over with this beginner's mind. So I hope that answered your question.
Oh my God, it was perfect. It was beautiful. Well, and one thing I know that you just created, and I'm so excited about, I got to see it before all of you. No, I'm just super excited. So you put together this this morning mindfulness guidebook. Mm-hmm. And we talked a little bit about mindfulness already, kind of what the awareness in the space. But specifically, I'm curious why you chose morning. Like, what is it specifically? And I know this is because I know you, I know that it's kind of patterned off of what you've been doing yourself and what you've been able to learn. So yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
So I chose morning, honestly, because like before 2020, life was for me chaotic, especially the mornings. I don't know if anybody else out there has kids who are listening, but you know those mornings, which was almost every single morning for me, where like at least one child could not wake up, did not want to wake up, blah, blah, blah. And you're running and you have the to-do list and you have this and that. And that was my morning, and not to mention it would always, that chaotic energy would just continue on. It never really settled. It never really stopped. And it just would spiral. And by the end of 2019, I'm like, I think a lot of us were like, come on, 2020, this is going to be the best year. 2020, even numbers, and it's going to be the best year ever. That turned out really awesome. So anyways,
some parts are really awesome.
yes, yeah, some parts actually have turned out really well. I'm always going back to gratitude, and that's why this guidebook really came to fruition. Is I wanted to work on my mornings and be incredibly purposeful about how I started my mornings, because I had to.
Yeah.
I just had to. So this guidebook and what we did earlier together, very beginning of all of this, was a lot of it was for me,
Yeah.
to be perfectly honest, to figure out, okay, what am I doing in the mornings and how can I adjust it? And how can it be really, really simple? Because I need simple. I can't, my brain cannot hold on to complicated things anymore. It just needs simplicity. It needs as uncluttered as possible so I can start my morning off just. So that's how the morning mindfulness guidebook started. Was I just needed some, and it's a good reminder for me, and to have it at the side of my bed, and because I do it too. I mean, yes, I wrote it, but I actually have it. And I'm like, oh yeah. So yeah, that's how it started.
That is fantastic. I know there's a few comments in here, right, about oh, hi Misha, hi
Hi,
Tanya. Oh
Misha.
my gosh, so much love on this thread. Hi Maria. Oh, you guys are amazing and beautiful.
I shouldn't have done
Yeah,
that.
Misha, our kids need that too, right? A mindful morning or a mindful mother.
Yes,
For sure.
for sure.
I do know, because you're so amazing, that I will put the link in the comments
Yeah.
to where folks can grab that, as well as your Facebook group. I'll put those links in there too. I've been a member of your Facebook group now, well, since its inception.
Yeah. Baby
But
group.
yes, I get so much out of the moments that you share. There's a lot of experiential sharing, which I think really speaks to a lot of people, and a lot of people in the group too. So the words. Um,
Words, words coming out my
Word. Well, I
mouth.
was trying to think of the word authentic and it didn't want to come up. So here we go. Here's an authentic moment where I couldn't think of the word.
There you go.
But that's one of the things that I love about you. And you just mentioned it too, right? You're going through the process with us. It's not like, here I am, I'm an expert, although you are an expert.
Thanks.
But,
That was hard to
we're all
that was hard to receive. I will tell you that right now. My body went, what?
no expert, right? But everybody's sort of along this continuum of like, we're all experts,
Yeah.
comparatively, in one way or another. But truly, I mean, your life's work is now coming together in such a beautiful way. And I feel so privileged to be able to be a part of that. And I know that there's so much, you talk about radiance. There's so much radiating from you and the people in the group. I mean, it's a community you've really created, that they, interact with each other, and learn from each other. And it's so beautiful.
Aw, thanks. Yeah, again, it's that radiance and just being a container for people and holding space. I love holding space for people. It's a gift, and it's also, I mean, sometimes I hold too much space and I have to make sure to release that as well. But it's really important for me. The reason why, and I tell everybody this, people have asked me, well, why is it a private group? I'm like, well, it needs to be,
Yeah.
right? And that's so the container can be safe, so people can express, um, and know that they'll be heard and witnessed. And I mean, we laugh a lot. I mean, the I just did a live. I do pop on to the group a lot, just like whoop, like I did about 30 minutes before we started, and at the very end, you might hear my cat throwing up behind me. So yeah, so it's authentic.
Yes, the illusion, right?
Yes,
The illusion of perfection is quickly leaving our psyche, which I think
yeah,
is you know, it's interesting because I think that's a part of all of this. I mean, everybody's working from home, right? Everybody's got kids or pets or something happening. You
yeah.
know, I was teaching a class and there was my window. It was in the windstorm and it broke off, and I was like, hold on, I gotta go. Right?
Yeah.
This is real life happening. Real life is happening.
Absolutely. And we finally get to express that. And, you know, I love with, I'm backtracking for a second to the morning guidebook. Part of it, part of the reason why I did it was because I didn't feel real at all,
Mm,
you know, in like 2019, 2018. And granted, I had a big death for me that I was still healing from. But as I was kind of finding myself, there was so much, and it was all happening in the morning. There was so much chaos in my mornings that to discover my real authentic self and to be okay with who I am, because, you know, here I'm going to present myself well,
of course. I mean,
but
there's yeah.
Renee knows that I can swear like a sailor.
That's what I love.
Right. So I mean, like, aw. But I won't do that, of course, out of respect and whatnot, you know, but to be able to bring all those pieces in, for me, it had to start in the morning, or else I, you know, and to really come back to my breath and come back to my center. And it's been incredibly helpful for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, and
so
sets the tone for the whole day, which,
huge. And that's part of the guidebook. Nice job for using the word tone.
thanks. Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't even do that on purpose. I was gonna say, do you want to give us a little tidbit, one of the pieces from there?
sure. So really there are two steps. I will we'll just talk about real quick the importance of breath,
Mm,
right? What a gift that we have, that we're breathing.
yes.
Yeah, and when we get wrapped up into that kind of chaotic swirl of life, that happens. It's totally normal, and you shouldn't make yourself wrong for that at all.
Right.
But this beautiful breath that we have sometimes is like, hello, just want a little acknowledgement, that's all. And so starting in the morning by just being with your breath before you get up. I did this when I taught this, actually on this page at the very beginning. This visual came up where it's like you wake up, right? And your brain is out the door and your body's like, wait for me, and here's your brain, and right, it's just like constantly chasing. And so this just gives you a moment, and actually let's do it right now, just real quick, if you have
Yeah,
a moment, just
absolutely.
because I mean, hello, I gotta have a little movement.
Right.
I don't know what to do with my arms, you guys, this sweater's so long. uh, so just shake it all out, give yourself a little shimmy. Feet on the ground if you happen to be sitting. Please, if for some reason you're listening to this in the car, do not do this part. Okay, thanks. So feet on the ground, and just allow yourself to just sit comfortably for a moment, closing your eyes if you're comfortable. If you're not comfortable, keeping your eyes downcast and looking just at your floor or whatever. And just take a moment to acknowledge the breath. You don't have to breathe fancy or anything like that. Just allowing that breath to go in and out.
I
So the
really like
one,
that you said that we don't have to breathe fancy or like count. You know, sometimes when I get too aware of my breath, I'm like, am I doing it right?
yeah,
Just breathing.
yeah, just Breathing. Yeah, I do the same thing where it's like, oh, I didn't breathe long enough here, and just for a second, wiggle toes, wiggle fingers. I could do this forever, but I don't want to take up too much time. And then wiggle the shoulders and allow that spine to undulate if it's comfortable. You'll find in everything that I do, I'm always going to say, especially movement wise, and you feel free to open your windows.
Open your windows to the
The
soul.
windows to the soul. Like my brain's like, open your windows. So go ahead and open your windows. um, and, and get into your body for a second and just shake it out. Maybe shake hands, whatever you need to do. It's the end of the day. Some of us have been on the computer for way
Sorry, that's not what you meant.
But that's how
Yeah.
that's how I invite everybody to begin their day before you get out of bed. And you can read all about it in the guidebook. But it was an absolute joy to do. And for those of you who check it out, I hope you enjoy it. But it's just a little, I know, just a little something to help everyone kind of get into their mornings, because we forget sometimes the mornings. We do all this work, we do all the work on ourselves, we read all the books, from all the books like
All the
children,
books.
and we love that. And then we forget, at least I forget, I should speak for myself, is the body's really important. You can work in this beautiful, gorgeous mind space, and that's great, and it's important. But the body needs the attention. It needs to move, and it's going to move energy through you. It's going to move emotions through you. It's going to move just tension. It's going to move blocks. And so to get that into it, I don't really go deep into that into the guidebook, because that's for the deeper work that I do, and that's going to be part of this bigger program, which is pretty much done, which I guess I could talk about a little bit in January. It might have to be February, we'll see, but I'm working on a program which will involve movement and private coaching, and then group movement classes and meditations. And it's probably, I'm looking at about 3 to 4 months. It was going to be longer, but I'm going to shrink it down since I really want to see how it feels in everybody's bodies before I expand it. So, you gotta give, it's like a little beautiful beta container that I'm excited to craft.
I love it. And how many programs out there really combine this stuff? It's like you're either doing, like, I have to join the workout program, and I have to join the coaching program, or I have to, get in the, I mean, it's just, it's so beautiful that what you're doing combines really all the pieces that we need to be fully human, right? That fully integrated person who can shine their light.
Yes, absolutely. And radiate, and not radiate just from this gorgeous crown chakra that radiates so well, but we gotta love the root as well. And this root supports us from like underneath and behind, really, if you think of it from a body perspective, and allowing yourself to be really supported and held. You got to connect to your feet, for example, and make sure that you're really you understand that your feet are connected to the earth, which has so much energy, and allowing that to come up through your body. I just, like, my brain's like, we could talk about this all the time.
I know you and I could talk for hours and hours.
Yeah, but so it's a work that I love doing. It's a true joy, and it's really exciting, because I don't have a lot of people that I can look to who are doing this kind of work, and I'm realizing, oh,
we were waiting for you.
So.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you to all the beautiful ladies. Yes, Tanya, shine all around. Absolutely. We are all shining. I will get those links in the comments when we are done here. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you all for watching. We will be back next week. I should have written down who was coming, because I don't remember off the top of my head. But we're here.
Perfect. It's okay.
Perfect. We're here every week, so don't miss it. 4:30 Central Time. And we'll see you again soon. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Mwah.